Okay, draft tier list time. So what I'm going to do here is just, as you can probably guess, go through every single team in the AFC in this video and put rank how I thought their draft went into tiers. To be clear, I am not necessarily going to be saying that who got the best players are going to go in the highest tier and worst players go in the lowest tier because, okay, if you have the first overall pick, you're going to get a better player than the team with the 32nd overall pick. So it's more about how you maximized value. Who made smart decisions in this draft? That's really what I'm going to be ranking. This is just the AFC. I will do an NFC version of exactly this shortly. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with the Tennessee Titans, who, again, we can, debate and talk about, do you like this pick or do you love this pick? Was DK a bit of a reach at 103? Was Illuminator a bit of a steal at pick 136? All that matters is Cam Ward, right? This is the Cam Ward draft. We will either remember this as the draft that they got Cam Ward or the draft that they missed on Cam Ward. I don't know if I can put him in amazing just because it was kind of the obvious pick, but I'll say mostly smart. They didn't screw things up. You deserve credit for not screwing things up, so that's where I'll go with there. We then had the Steelers, who are next on the list. The Steelers had another, listen, this is a team that could have gone after the quarterback position. They decided not to. They got Derek Harmon, a player I really like. They got Jack Sawyer, another player I really like. Do they need to be loading up on the defensive line right now? Well, listen, the players they have on their roster aren't going to play there forever, right? So you do need a backup plan there. Caleb Johnson, that's pretty good value at 83 as well as a running back. Did it get Will Howard as kind of a flyer? And who knows, maybe Aaron Rodgers retires and you have to figure something out. I'm convinced they're going into the season with Aaron Rodgers, which I don't know if that's the best idea, but if that's what you're going to do, well, then I think this was a fine draft. So I think I will also put them in the mostly smart tier for not, reaching on a quarterback that maybe wouldn't have been a great idea. Although I'm not sure if I would have gone for Aaron Rodgers, but that's not what I'm evaluating in this video. We then have the Broncos, who, it's a weird draft because I absolutely loved their first round pick. I think Jody Barron will be a great player for them. I'm just being honest. I thought a couple of their picks were kind of reaches here. RJ Harvey at pick 60, he was projected to go 110. Pat Bryant at pick 74, he was projected to go 162 on the consensus big board. Those are big drops, and they drafted a punter at a certain point. Every position that they drafted was supposed to go later according to the consensus big board, which doesn't mean everything, right? But it's I think it's fair to say I'm still going to put it into not my favorite, even if they had, I think one of the first round pick they had made my top 7 favorite picks. So I loved that selection. And there's no team here that made 0 smart picks, but I just didn't love the rest of what they did. Then we can go over to the Ravens, who, listen, the Baltimore Ravens continue to be at the forefront and be one of the most smart teams in football year after year. They get 11 selections, so right off the bat, that's good. I don't love drafting kickers, not because kickers aren't valuable, but just it's kind of hard to tell if they're going to be good or not. But okay, they still had 10 other selections, and they got, 2 really good players in the first 2 picks, which, say what you want about the whole Mike Green situation. Most people thought was a, potential top 15 caliber of player. They get him at the back half of the first round. Malachi Starks also should be a really good player for them. It's an amazing draft. It just is. This is the Ravens doing what the Ravens do, getting a ton of picks, making the most out of these picks. It's hard not to be impressed by what they continue to do. Then the Bills, who drafted Maxwell Harrison, a corner who should be a very good corner, for them, and also kind of helps because he's a fast corner in Kansas City. There might be something there. So then some interesting flyers with TJ Sanders and Landon Jackson. Yeah, I think this was some other picks that were good. I can't put them in the amazing tier, but I think mostly smart feels pretty fair for me. So I'll put them in that tier. Then the Chargers, who, again, I think, it's good. The running back value thing has to come into discussion here, right? The Chargers definitely are a team that values the rushing game, but I think obviously the criticism is sometimes running backs at this point don't actually turn into the elite level running backs you want. Like, is it too much to ask for him to be Josh Jacobs, who he's getting compared to? Probably. Maybe Hampton will make it work. Trey Harris is a wide receiver some people really love. I'm a little bit cooler on than other people, but I do like him. I think I'm going to put this in the got what you need, but did you maximize value, right? Because it's just a question. I'm not saying they for sure didn't, but they did draft a position that most people feel like you can get good players in later rounds in the running back position in the first round. So there is that. The Trey Harris thing, maybe I would have liked. I don't know. He's a good player. That's a fine pick at 55. But just they got what they need. But did they maximize value? They're close to mostly smart. But that's just where I'm gonna keep them. But again, it of course is going to come down to like the question these are all going to come down to, which is just how much do you value running backs? And if you value them more, then cool. We can just agree to disagree. The Texans are next on the list, who really liked adding Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. They added 3 players named Jalen and another player named Jaden, so that's interesting. Definitely have to call people by their last names there. Ariante Essery, mid-second round pick, kind of falls to them perfectly. That's kind of where he should have gone. They get him there. So, yeah, this is a mostly smart draft as well. That's going to be most teams, I feel like. Most teams are mostly smart. That's kind of how this thing tends to work. Is that what will be the case for the Dolphins? Well, Miami, Kenneth Grant, again, projected to be kind of a back half of the first round guy. They get him at 13. They draft a guard at pick 37 who is projected to go at the end of the second round. So this is kind of the poster child for the got what you needed, but did you maximize value, right? They absolutely got what they needed. These were important things to add to this roster, but did they maximize the value? Could they have gotten better players? Perhaps that's kind of the discussion. And for the Las Vegas Raiders, it's interesting because you can almost argue. Do you argue to? I think you kind of have to. If I put the Chargers there, I kind of have to put the Raiders in the got what you needed, but did you maximize value? I think this Raiders team could be really fun next year with the way that they can work over the middle, the running game, similar to how the Chargers were fun last year and will be even more fun this year, right? They're kind of similar there. You could argue, okay, is a running back who you don't get as long with, there's the whole running back value discussion. Is that as valuable as drafting someone who could have been a stud player at a different position? There is that discussion, but ultimately, like Ashton Genty and Jack Beck are really going to help out this roster and help them do what they want to do, similar to how Hampton's going to help out the Chargers do what they want to do. So I think that's why I have them there. Moving on to the Jets. So, again, I think this is a mostly smart draft, right? I really like Armand Membo. I think he's an underrated prospect, to be honest. And even though he still went at 7, and most people liked him going at 7, Mason Taylor at tight end, some people really like. I see him more of as a developmental guy. Azariah Thomas is a guy who, I think falls to them a little bit. Thought he was going to go a little earlier, so I like that move. They did draft Arian Smith, a guy who was projected to go undrafted with pick 110. He is very much a developmental guy. Not sure I fully get that one, but as a whole, yeah, mostly smart feels fair for me. Next up was the Kansas City Chiefs, who get Josh Simmons in the first round, which feels like they're getting what they need, but also player that usually I think goes better than 32, so he kind of falls to them a little bit as well. Was projected to go about 6 slots higher. A couple defensive linemen that should help. Noel Williams, who I've kind of been pounding the table saying, look out for this guy. I think he's going to end up being a starting... I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's going to be someone who, like, we're talking about come postseason of like, oh yeah, Noel Williams is like now just a starting corner for them. I think that has real potential. Who they got him at pick 85. They also added Jalen Royals as he kind of fell to them. He was projected to go 76. He goes 133. I really like what the Chiefs have done, and I don't remember if I put them on my winners list when I did that, but if I didn't, that was a mistake because, I think this was an amazing draft, especially some of these later picks. I think they did a very good job. Then we have the Patriots who, listen, I'm not a huge Will Campbell fan, and again, people are going to have different evaluations. If you disagree, cool. We can agree to disagree. I really like Kyle Williams. I like Trey Hendrickson as a prospect. You can kind of tell my running back value thoughts, but again, I don't need to get too bogged down in that. They had a lot of picks. That's good. Braden Swinston, a really good selection. They did get 2 special teams happy towards the end. Really, kind of their last 4 picks are, or I guess 3 of their last 4 picks are special teams picks, with a mixed in of a offensive lineman who is projected at 415, who went at 220, which who cares really at that point. But still, there are some picks I liked. I think the Jared Wilson pick will work. Kyle Williams pick I love. It just wasn't my favorite because I'm not a huge Will Campbell fan, and I think at pick 4, that just felt like it's not maximizing the value there. So again, some picks I like, but that's why I put them there. But we'll see. Maybe, what do I know? The Bengals are here with the Shamar Stewart selection, which, listen, controversial prospect. Some people are going to love him. Some people are going to hate him. I wouldn't say I hate him. I actually like him more than some because I do think he's a good run defender and can develop as a pass rusher. But, the Demetrius Knight picks, well, I think he'll help, still felt like a bit of a reach. And to be honest, I just don't know if the Bengals are the right team to be drafting these developmental players, or really Stewart being the key one, the developmental guy. I want impact players today. Jody Barron went a few picks later. That would have been exactly what I would have wanted to see from them. So yeah, I'm going to put this into, I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about it. So that's why I'm putting them on that list. But yeah, moving on to the Indianapolis Colts here. So, you have, again, Tyler Warren kind of falls to them. That was very much projected to happen on a lot of mock drafts. Not shocked at all that it happens here. He goes at 14. They get an edge rusher who, was projected to go around there, goes around there. I don't know if they nailed every other selection, such as Justin Whaley projected to go at 186, getting him at 80. But, this is a strong draft. It's mostly smart draft. Again, the first round pick kind of being the key one, I thought. So, yeah. Then we have the Browns, who I'm including the trade in this. If you made trades, I'm kind of including those things here. And for the Cleveland Browns, I really like the trade down. I know Travis Hunter's a bit of a unicorn, and it's different. The rules are different, but the rules usually are you always trade down if there's not a franchise quarterback on the table if you're picking high, because you get so much value. The value they got in this draft class, not to mention a future first from Jacksonville, who that could end up being a premium first. It could not go that way. We all thought that Houston, when they traded their future first for Will Anderson, that was going to be a premium pick, but then CJ Stroud and Will Anderson helped get them to the playoffs, right? So it can go that way, but I wouldn't bank on, there's a chance it goes really well, is all I would say. So because of that, I like the move by the Browns. And then, I like getting Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Let's get him in the building. Let's add some competition. If they both stink, okay, they both stink. But they didn't reach on a quarterback at 5. They decided to wait and ultimately get a couple options that could end up working out. So, yeah, I'll put this in the amazing tier. I really like it, helping set them up for the future. The Jaguars are next on this list, who, again, there's the whole, they decided to go after Travis Hunter, and I just said the rules usually state you don't do something like that. That being said, the rules are different because Travis Hunter can potentially play 2 different positions, and that changes things. I still didn't love a ton of the rest of the Jaguars picks. There's a couple in here I liked, but there are a lot of, again, just using the consensus big board as a way to measure things, there were a lot of reaches here and some massive reaches. Ransaw was projected to go 150th. They get him 88. They have Jack Kaiser projected to go 159. They get him at 107. Jalen McLeod, 310th ranked prospect. They get him at 194. Raekwon Lane, 270th. They get him at 200. Jonah Monaheem was 500th on the consensus big board. They get him at 221. You're not really maximizing value there. I don't love trading up for non-quarterbacks, although I do love Travis Hunter. So I'm going to put this in just a not my favorite. Although they did get legitimately my favorite prospect in this draft class. So we'll see how it works out. But yeah, that is the AFC. Let me know your thoughts. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.